Red 2 standing by, all 4 lit and in the green. Welcome back to Metroid Prime Remastered, and doesn't it look beautiful? Just this introductory area alone sets you up so much for what Talon 4 will be like, and it's astonishing. The amount of detail that you can get out of this 20 years on. It's splendid. It's a good reason why Metroid Prime was one of the reasons to own a GameCube. Okay, sure, the GameCube wasn't as financially successful as its competitors. Like, the PS2 had a great start out because, well, it was the cheapest DVD player on the market, but it backed that up with some really, really solid games. The GameCube had great games, even the ones that aren't necessarily the big ones, but this was stunning, and it's even better now. By the way, don't forget to scan this. Hunter class gunship, registered to Samus Aran. You can return to your ship to recharge energy, reload weapons, and save progress in the game. Works like Super Metroid. What do we got down here? So, interestingly, this isn't a logbook entry, but it gives us a nice detail. Morphology: Talon fern, non-toxic variety of Celo talonensis, commonly found near water sources. Same thing there. If we go over here, we can scan something, I think. Small tunnel burrowed into this wall. Ah, this is what I'm looking for. Morphology: Tangleweed, plant life with basic sentience, retracts into ground if threatened. Tangleweeds are only dangerous to small organisms. They are covered in tiny barbs designed to trap potential meals. Tangleweeds lack the strength to do anything more than hinder larger life forms. We can get a few more scan entries in this area, but there's a doorway up here, but I'm not going to go through there just yet. I'll save a little bit of a surprise. There are some scan entries, but I'll do things a little different. I want to come back here after I've done the first sort of part of the game. If we go through here, the ground shakes. Morphology: Beetle, imaginative. Burrowing insect with a resilient carapace, extremely aggressive. The insect's massive mouth enables it to tunnel through solid rock at high speeds. Above ground, beetles can cover short distances rapidly. They attack anything that moves near their lair. Target your enemies and give them a blast with the power beam. The power beam is not overly strong, but its rapid fire capacities are good for clearing small groups of weak enemies. This is a creature entry too. Morphology: Sapsack. Chemical reaction within sac produces violent explosion when agitated. Because of its irresistible odour and sweet nectar, the sapsack was nearly eaten out of existence. The evolution of an explosive chemical sac saved it. Now only brave or ingenious creatures dare to devour it. The game is very front heavy on its scan entries. You'll be learning a lot about the area. For example, morphology: Blast cap. Volatile chemicals within this weed's toxic fungal cap may explode if agitated. The poisonous flesh of the blast cap helps keep it from being eaten. It also detonates its fungal cap when it senses even slight contact. So, there's a Metroid staple up here. Morphology: Zoomer. I know it's got nothing to do with the younger generations. Anchors itself to walls and other surfaces. Avoid contact with spikes. A basic nerve centre located directly above the Zoomer's mandibles detects nutrients. Sharp spines protect it from casual predators, but the lack of a reinforced carapace makes the Zoomer vulnerable to any indirect attacks. They are essentially considered interstellar vermin according to hunters. So, if we go up here, we can get an entry for the Gema, wall-crawling mollusk with retractable spikes. The Gema is an evolutionary offshoot of the Zoomer family. When threatened, it extends lethal spikes and retracts its head deep into its armoured carapace. So, we can shoot at them, but it won't do much good. We can't hurt them just yet. I'm going to get another scan entry through here and then we'll scurry back, but there was confusion about whether the zoomer was called a zoomer or a gamer because it had been called both in previous games. Morphology, blood flower, able to eject toxic spores. Toxins are poisonous even to the blood flower itself, which seems like a really stupid idea. 3 mouth nodules protrude from the stalk beneath the flower, each with a rudimentary brain cluster and the ability to spew toxic fumes at anything within a 5-meter radius. The spores ejected from the stigma at the centre of the flower are sufficient to kill this creature if they explode in its vicinity. So to defeat it, I missed. Basically just shoot that back at it. Also worth noting, pick these up. We can't go any further. This is a blast shield on the door blocking access. Analysis indicates that the blast shield is invulnerable to beam weapons. Explosive weapons may damage it. So the shots will go flying off and land some. Yeah, you can see them just sort of flying off to the far corner. That health pickup is just out of reach. So we can't go that way. The only way to go is down and into the big sort of half-pipe structure. We should be able to drop down here. A few beetles to harass us. And we've got health. We have to pick up pretty much all our kit. And if we go through here, we will gain access to the next area. Chozo Ruins. The Chozo have been present pretty much everywhere across the galaxy in the Metroid universe. They are one of the big precursor races as such. We finally got to see them actually alive in Metroid Dread, and Samus does speak Chozo. Probably a little rusty, but she does a good job. We go from the beautiful vibrant greens to dusty, rocky, sandy areas. And slightly foreboding music. But again, looks absolutely gorgeous. You just look at the detail in all this. Sort of overcast, cloudy skies, the incredible, just the detail in the rocks. All the sand that it already feels like these are ruins, that this place has been left for years and years. And if you note, above the door you'll see something swirling. We'll get some information because Chozo lore is scattered all around important areas to the Chozo, usually in the ruins, but sometimes in other places. The history of the Chozo stretches back into ancient times, so far into the fog of the past that we know not where our ancestors came from. One thing is clear, however, the Chozo who colonized Talon 4 made a conscious choice to eschew a civilization of advanced technology. We Chozo chose to live in harmony with nature, guided by the providence of the universe. We believe we will spend peaceful days here and plan to leave our words from time to time. So, you'll find out all about their civilization on Talon 4. But you notice that things just look dead and lifeless. The trees don't have the same vibrance that the ones on the Talon overworld do. It's just sparse. Melancholy, if you will. That we are traversing through something that was once absolutely magnificent, but lost and crumbling now. Even the leaves just sort of match the overall aesthetics, the simple stone structures, presumably hewn from the land with ancient techniques. The Chozo are still masterful in what they do, how everything was intertwined with nature. And yet, it's all crumbling. All toppled. Consumed by the ravages of eons. It gives you something to think about, that even the greatest among us will eventually be consumed by history. The great legacies of the past have in a way been consumed by nature, preserved quite often by people who don't fully understand the significance of their works. How can we fully understand what people in the past were capable of? How can we fully comprehend their knowledge when so much of it has been lost by people who were willfully ignorant, let's say? People who refuse to understand just how that what they considered meaningless, what they considered primitive, was actually built on such vast tradition, such knowledge built up over the years. How can we truly understand the Chozo and all they have made? And now to divert, here is a war wasp hive. Primary war wasp dwelling, only vulnerable to heavy weaponry. War wasps build their homes over existing crevices, using whatever materials are close at hand. They carry building fragments back to their construction site with their forelegs, and glue them into place with adhesives secreted from their abdomens. Okay, so we can't annoy them and get the wasps out here yet. We'll be able to do that in due course, though. War wasp hives are a bit of a pain in the butt. Now, we can go through that doorway, but it's kind of blocked off because we need the morph ball to get in there. If we go through here, we will be able to proceed. And we'll encounter basically pallet swaps of the parasites, scarabs, exploding parasites that can embed their bodies in solid rock. Scarabs think nothing of sacrificing themselves for the safety of their swarm. When a hostile life form is sighted, they block its progress by embedding themselves in floors and walls. Embedded scarabs violently self-destruct when threatened. So, we have to deal with our swarms of scarabs, which was actually an old Yu-Gi-Oh card. There was Swarm of Scarabs and Swarm of Locusts. And speaking of top-heavy scans, Ion, immobile organisms entirely composed of ocular tissue. Capable of launching sustained energy beams when active, the Ion is sensitive to light and will close shut if a bright flash ignites nearby. So to temporarily stop them shooting their lasers around, just shoot them, basically. They'll close and you can go on by. We've got more lore, and we've got beetles popping up too. So, what do the Chozo have to say? What are their words of wisdom this time? Many long years have passed since we Chozo first took root in this land. The passage of time has always been a source of fascination to us. It is the belief of many Chozo sages that the truths of the universe hide within the tumbling currents of time's flow. Even as we search for answers there, however, we find illumination in other, unexpected places. We know not how the ability has come to us, but recently many Chozo have begun to sense things beyond the realm of ordinary perception. Strange sights and inexplicable sensations flood our minds, filling us with visions. We take this growing ability to be a sign of our burgeoning harmonization with the infinite. Perhaps, finally, the universe's secrets are becoming known to us. Well, obviously that must have been some pretty good meditation. Ah, here we go.
Recording to logbook.
War wasp, airborne insect equipped with a venomous stinger capable of shearing steel. The war wasp rarely strays far from its hive unless it is pursuing an immediate threat. It attacks with no regard for its own survival, dive bombing its enemy with stinger extended. Fast-working toxins from the stinger can incapacitate most small organisms, so they'll keep coming at you. Buy yourself a bit of space. And if you want, duck round here and grab yourself a save station. I won't save yet, but you'll essentially get your energy replenished. It's kind of tradition, don't save in the middle of recording. Okay, so we need to go a little further on and blast past our swarms of scarabs. Basically, just tap the targeting button and get rid of them. Another wasp hive. We don't need to muck around with those. We don't have much to do in here just yet, but we can come back.
Recorded to logbook.
Okay, a plasmite. We saw this on the frigate. Small insect capable of storing and releasing thermal energy. Plasmites are attracted to sources of heat, thriving on the energy presence there. They emit light when hunting, which probably isn't the smartest thing, and will expel small bursts of thermal energy when threatened. So yeah, because if they're expelling light when hunting, it's kind of like you're teaching your predators. Well, a predator is teaching the prey to look out for that and get away. Also,
Recorded to logbook.
more research, large energy, replenishes 20 units of energy. So they're giving you some healing because there's a boss fight coming up. Also, there is green water, which isn't very good for us. And I walked right into an insect. Fantastic. Well done, me. I don't suppose there's any more healing. Well, I should be pretty confident. We can go through this area and... ooh, what's that we see here? It appears this item can only be reached by using the elevated bridge. Is it... looks worn but functional, and... mechanical device appears to be inactive. Life forms detected within hollows of machine. There's our missile launcher, but we are going to have a rumble. Water floods into the room and we get some pretty kick-ass music. Get your scan visor out and quickly scan the Hive Mecha. Security unit programmed to work with predatory hive dwellers. A design flaw makes the shielding on Hive Mecha weak around their access ports. These units are second-generation combat drones able to interface with organic units at a higher level. They train, shelter, and work with hive-dwelling predators. Unarmed, they rely on their hive beasts to handle any threats.
Recorded to logbook.
Morphology, Ram War Wasp. These are one-time scans as well. You will not encounter them anywhere else. Airborne Predator. Circles its prey and then strikes. The war wasps are the only species on Talon 4 to evolve a true hive mind. Nesting in damp, dark places, Ram war wasps emerge in small groups when threatened and circle their enemy at high speeds, disorienting it. Striking from all sides as a single intelligence, they can fell huge organisms. Now, pay attention 007, because this boss fight is teaching you something important. Do you see that radar in the top left of your screen? That is how you handle this fight. Wait until they stop moving and then open fire. Observe their presence using your radar and take them down that way. If you don't pay attention to where your enemies are, you'll be disoriented and likely defeated. Keep shooting the Hive Mecha when it's vulnerable. It's kind of a shame you only get this music for just a little bit, for just 2 boss fights basically. Because it's an absolute bop. They went really hard on this one. Like, the music in the whole game is fantastic, honestly. It is worth noting that this version of the game is actually based on the Trilogy Edition, not the GameCube original. which actually throws me off on originally threw me off on a couple of things. Because, well, we'll find out later on. But one of the things we do get to find out is that the morph ball also comes with the spring. I think the bombs also come with the spring ball. So we have our missiles back. Missile launcher acquired. Press X to fire, press A to switch back to beams. Missiles can destroy blast shields on doors. Additional data downloaded to inventory screen. So, if we want to have a look at it, secondary items, missile launcher. Adds ballistic weapon capability to the arm cannon. Press X to fire the missile launcher, press A to return to beam mode. Samus's notes. Missiles fired with a lock-on will seek their targets. Missiles can destroy objects made from radion or brimstone. There are charge combo enhancements scattered throughout the environment. They use the missile launcher and the charge beam in tandem to fire more effective blasts. Each missile expansion found will increase the number of missiles it's possible to carry by 5. So, there we go. That's given us a nice power-up. So there we are. And our first energy tank, which is not actually a scan entry. So we've now got a bit more power, a bit more durability. And we've also got missile ammunition. Resupplies the missile launcher with 5 rounds of ammo. No more stuffing around waiting to get 2 missiles at a time. We are well kitted out, but we do have to go back the way we came, because we can't go through there. We can't be small just yet. Alright, now we can get back to the door because the ceiling fell in. We will make our way back to the main plaza, where we'll be able to go through a different door. And we will gradually recover our equipment, because that's what the Chozo Ruins is all about. We get our gear back, slowly but surely. Rightio, now we don't have to deal with the wasps. Now if I stick the landing, good. Now where is it? Take the blast caps out of the way and pay attention to that wall here. Jump, stick, and again, it's not a scan entry, but we get a missile expansion already. Keep an eye out for all of these because you will want to be well kitted out. And if we go through here, we will get the map for the Chozo Ruins. Very convenient. Whoops. So, if we zoom out, we can see that it's a fairly extensive area. Quite a few different locations for us to travel through. So we can see that there's a door. We can see there's another pathway up here and one down there. We can see that needs a missile, but this one, that one needs the morph ball, so we can't do anything about that just yet. Okay, let's make sure we come back here because we need the morph ball for that. We will be doing a fair bit of backtracking if we want to get all our kit. But that's just the nature of Metroid games. You go through the area, you find new things, you explore, you come back and look at areas. Now, if I get my shot right, one. Very nice, saves us a little bit of grief. Like, war wasps are... Hey, can I do anything? Okay, so missiles only do that. I was kind of curious because I thought, hang on, what can I do with them? How much damage can I do? because there is actually a way to defeat ions, and we'll find out about that later on. That wasn't great. Well, we're topped up with missiles, but I face tanked a bunch of scarabs. Hello and goodbye. Wait, hang on, is there a... yes, there is another one. Alright, so I've cleared the area. We can head to that other doorway we saw, and that can probably wrap it up because we'll have some good bits of kit. Probably should have saved that, but oh well. There are plenty of scarabs. They are essentially your restock enemies. Target them, destroy them. And you'll be in pretty good shape as you get more pickups. Even if they do blow up on you a little bit. Now this room we will have to come back to a few times. But we can see a ball over there. That, of course, is our morph ball. And it's not going to be that easy. So pay attention to where your enemies are. Strafe and collect the health, so that you don't get too damaged. There's always one hitting me from the side. You can't always keep a good eye on your radar, I admit. But once you sweep that infestation, you get a bigger one with a bloated, bulbous backside. Gonna come straight at me. Yes, it does, which is a bit of a pain. So make sure to dodge. This is the plated beetle, well-armored burrowing insect, vulnerable only in the rear abdomen. Blah. Creature's thick cranial plating can repel frontal attacks. This gives it an advantage in combat, allowing it to make ramming attacks, only surfacing when it detects vibrations above. It then maneuvers itself so as to always face its rival, keeping its exposed abdomen protected. So, bait it into charging, and you can wind up using your standard power beam, but your missiles will also make short work of it. Easy enough. It's a bit hectic, but if you keep a cool head, you'll be fine. Now, let's grab the ball. We have acquired the morph ball, and I can backtrack for a couple of items. Press Y to activate morph ball mode, use L to move the ball around. And we'll check out the additional data. Morph ball. The morph ball changes your suit into a compact mobile sphere. Press Y to enter morph ball mode, press Y again to leave morph ball mode. Samus's notes. Like the power suit, the morph ball is modular. There are several modifications that can be added to improve performance. I can imagine that Samus would have some really, really good custom hot rods. Like, she's probably got some sort of really cool old car. Which, interestingly enough, is the case with the character from F-Zero Maximum Velocity who's based on her, Jane Christie. She loves modifying and repairing vintage automobiles. And I think she built and worked on the JB Crystal, her personal racing vehicle herself. She really, really does look like Samus. So, we get the main theme of the Chozo Ruins going, which is nice. Simple, but it's got a good catchy beat behind it. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Till next time, this is Red 2, returning to base.